Oh, it's upside down. Well, wake up. Okay, welcome back to the channel. It's another i3 video today. So today we are looking at the charge port. That's the locking pin that locks the cable in place. Okay, so that's not working. I had to use the blue emergency pulley thing to open this the other day, but I actually pulled the other one, so I pulled both of them, and so I think I've just mucked it up or whatnot. So I need to get in there and investigate, but to do that I've got to take the wing off, and to do that I've got to take the bumper off. Now I do have videos on the channel, and if I remember I will put links in the description, but if not, just go to my BMW i3 stripped down playlist and you will find them. And so I'm not going to worry too much. I'm just going to chuck the camera down somewhere. I'm going to get the bumper off, get the rear wing off, and then we'll get some more detail when I get towards the charge port type flap area. Okay, so before I do anything on the electrical system, I'm going to disconnect this thing like that. Okay then everyone, little talk time. So when you pull your little blue cable down here on the charge flap, you haven't really got any majorly tight corners or anything. So if you pull it like that and then you let it go, it kind of resets itself without too much tension. However, on the charge port one, you've got some really tight corners. We've got this little, I don't know if that's meant to be in behind there or what, but got that there. And then just in here you get a really tight corner from here against this plastic and then up to here, so that when, although this is really slack, this isn't resetting, it's too tight around there. So if you give it a bit of a push that through down the bottom there, it allows the port to actually reset. So I'm just going to have a little play around, check that this is working okay, and then we'll go from there. Right, so I forgot to do some filming, didn't I? Right, so I've just taken the screws out of here just to give me a little bit of play with that. Obviously this is all disconnected, remember we did that at the front, and then I've just put 12 volt to the outer pins in here, okay, just to check, and the motor seems to be working okay. So I've popped this back on here. I'm going to put it back together, plug it in, plug the car in, and then just check that it's working once again. Okay, I've screwed it back in, I've put this plug in, and don't forget, once you've pushed the plug in, push the little grey tab in as well. Obviously when you take it out, you've got to pull that grey tab out and then pull the plug out and then plug back in, grey tab back in. So for any of you that has actually used the little blue pull cords, you know that when you pull it, you don't actually know whether you've actually opened this actuator. There's no sort of feel to it. You can't, there's no indication that you've done it, and that is mainly because you've got these little plastic clips here, and it goes around these corners through these plastic guide rails, and it's so tight in there that you can't actually feel anything. And by the time you get and go around the corner there, you're more likely, you've got these little weak points here, more likely to snap it, because you keep pulling and you just don't know whether it's done its job or not. So if you are doing this on your own, just sort of pull it and then maybe try and have a look in and see if you can see if the pins, but you won't be able to see if the pins release because you've got the plug in. So yeah, bit of a shit design. So this is a nice little test to do. I've got the pin down so it's locked, so it's as if it's locked, and then I'll just press the unlock on the car, and then we should see the actuator move. So there we go, we can see that it's unlocking nicely, and then so I won't bother checking about it locking because I want to just get all this back together. Yeah, let's do that. Right, so literally I've put the wing back up, offered the wing back up, and managed to get around the back and then put the two plugs in. There's two plugs, one for the door here, one for the latch here, and then I've just clipped it in along the top there, just pushed it in. I've reinstated the high voltage plug at the front, so I'm just going to plug in with the old granny charger and just check that it all sort of does what it needs to do before I bolt everything back up. There we go, we heard that go, didn't we? Now it's charging. Got the old blue flashy light. There we go. Yeah, I know, bonnet's open. Yeah, there you go. We can see it's charging. So, happy with that. I'll disconnect that and then I'll bolt everything back up. But that's fairly simple. So, little hint, universal joint is really handy for getting into these ones in here. Forgot to mention that earlier. Top tip number 2, stick a little bucket, or maybe 2 buckets, for the bumper to sit on, then you don't have to worry about disconnecting any of the electrics on the bumper, because you only need to move it out of the way to get to one of the bolts on the wing.